Okay, elephant in the room. I know I'm wearing my Christmas sweater in May in California, but I was cold this morning. Welcome to another episode. My name is Emily from Crochet Creations, and this is a crochet, knitting, yarny, fiber related podcast that I do here on YouTube. I also have other videos on my YouTube channel in the realm of vlogging and all things fiber related. So if any of that is something you're interested in, then I would love to see you come back here. So make sure to like and comment on this video to let others know that you enjoy it, and also make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you can be notified of any new video that I come out with. I try to do at least one video a week. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. If you are new, I'm so glad you found my channel, and if you have come here before, then I'm so glad that you're back and that you want to hang out some more with me. I guess first off, we'll start with what I'm wearing for this podcast. It's a little hard to see just because of the lighting. There's not really a good place for lighting in my apartment. This is like a super dark green, but this is my Christmas sweater. It's Magnolia Bloom by Camilla Vad. I'll pop a picture up where you can see a little bit clearer. There's a beautiful magnolia leaf lace detail as well as some baubles that are super fun. It ends up being an Aran weight sweater, and I'm already getting warm now that I'm talking and moving around, so I might have to change out of it. But I was really cold this morning, so this is what I put on to keep me nice and cozy, and it was exactly what I needed. So I'm glad that I got a chance to wear it. I don't get to wear it very much here in California, so I'm wearing it right now, but it will probably come off later in the podcast because it is getting warm. 2 strands of mohair and Aran weight fabric. It's just a lot. That's what I'm wearing, not related to any FOs that I have, but I do have some FOs. We'll get to that in a minute, but I wanted to share some big news first. First, I wanted to let you all know that my Love Across the USA square has now been put into the Ukrainian peace mural and is now on display. I think my mural piece is now in New York City right by the World Trade Center, which is super cool. I'll make sure to pop up some pictures, and I'll leave a link down below if you are interested in helping out this group. London Kay leads this group, Love Across the USA, in creating graphic murals out of crochet and sets these murals up around the country in order to promote certain people or certain ideas. I'm sure they'll have something coming up for Pride, which is literally next month, so actually that's really soon, so maybe they've already got that underway. But I know that they do murals constantly throughout the year, and if you're interested in participating, I would definitely recommend it. It was a really cool opportunity to be able to do this, and I found out that the mural itself, that illustration, was done by a 16-year-old boy who is Ukrainian, and it was his art and his message to bring peace for Ukraine. So my heart goes out with those who are still suffering from that conflict going on right now, and it was really cool to participate and to be able to show support and love towards those people who are struggling right now. And I definitely recommend working with Love Across the USA. They've done quite a few murals already, so they are a well-oiled machine in making things work, and I know there's lots of details behind the scenes, and I'm always really impressed to see how it all comes together. So I definitely wanted to let you all know that that is up. I think there are 2 other murals, and one I think is maybe in LA and one in Michigan. I'm not quite sure. So definitely I'll put a little bit more information down below so you can look into it in case you are close to any of the murals. And you can go take a look. Super cool opportunity. My next piece of news kind of moves into our finished objects. So let's get started with that. I released my very first knitting pattern. I'm so excited. This pattern is the Mountains Call sock pattern. I'll pop a picture up right here of the adult size, and my FO is the baby size. I wouldn't say they're necessarily exactly newborn, but they'd probably fit like a 10 or 12 pound baby. Little baby, but maybe a little big for newborn size. I'm not sure. Depends on how the ribbing fits, but I do not have a baby to test them out on. These will be going to my sister-in-law. She's having a baby boy in like a month and a half or so she's getting close. So that is a baby shower gift for her. So I finished those, yay! But really want to focus on this pattern. Like I said, it's my very first knitting pattern, and I am so, so grateful for my testers who've helped me out in refining this pattern and giving suggestions so I could really make it a great pattern. This pattern is sized all the way from baby, using 32 stitches in the round, all the way up through adult extra large, which is 80 stitches in the round. So you can literally make this sock for anybody. So many size options. And I have the traditional colorwork chart that I followed for both of my socks, my pair as well as the baby pair, and those are all in the chart for 10, 12, 14, and 16 stitch count charts so that each size can still do that mountain motif. And I also included some more simplified colorwork charts for those same stitch counts so that if someone is having a bit of a hard time with doing 3-stranded color work, or they want to give this a go as their first colorwork project, they can do the simplified chart that still gives the mountain and tree effect but is easier to tackle. So I have the simplified charts for those stitch counts in the pattern as well, and in order to make this a little bit more visually accessible, I updated the charts so there is a version with symbols in place of the colors so that if someone is visually impaired, they'd have an easier time seeing it. Or if, for example, you wanted to print the pattern out and you didn't want to waste color on it, you could print in black and white and still see the symbols to designate the different colors. I have more visually accessible charts in both simplified versions and the regular versions for all the stitch counts. So there are a lot of charts in this pattern. I have worked really hard and I'm really proud of this design and I'm so happy about it. I'll have the links down below for Etsy and Ravelry, and I hope to see some more Mountains Call socks in my feed, so make sure to tag me on Instagram so I can see what you're making. Again, I'm so excited about this and I'm excited to be delving into the realm of sock design because I do really enjoy making socks. Yay! Okay, first FO, baby pair of socks. And you will know, if you've been watching this, that I was having issues with these socks not looking appropriate when they're off the blocker. Yeah, my husband on his 3D printer printed out some sock blockers for me, which was so nice. And so these actually look like little baby feet, so you know what they are and they don't look wrong or offensive or anything. He printed these out for me. This was a dud because there's some issues back there, but super cute. Just found a free file on Thingiverse. Super fun. I have more plans for printing things off on the 3D printer for knitting stuff, like possibly a sock machine, but that'll be a big project. But I have that on my horizons, so I'm getting excited about that, and I'm so grateful that I have the blockers now. So I'll probably give them to my sister-in-law on the blockers so she'll know that they're socks. Happy that they're done, happy I have a solution so I don't have to worry about sending them to my sister-in-law and she doesn't know what they are and they look really weird. Another finished object that I have is also sock related. These are the Daily Socks by Summer Lee Knits. Look at that beautiful texture. So pretty. The Daily Socks are kind of like a vanilla plus pattern. It's a super easy stitch texture to memorize and to work up. And so I had a lot of fun working on these socks, and they were just sitting by the wayside mostly until I went to Arizona and I ended up not having other projects to work on Sunday. And so I literally just worked on these socks for all day Sunday. I got through like the foot and toe of one sock and like the cuff leg and started the heel on the other sock. So I got a ton done in that day, and that really reignited my love for this pattern. And so I was able to blow through it and finish these off. Yay! So have an FO. I'm really happy about those socks. You'll see that the gauge for this texture is different than the gauge of stockinette, and so this part of the sock is kind of sliding forward a little bit, but I just made sure to try on my socks, and I didn't do the same stitch count necessarily. I didn't do the same row count. Oh my gosh. I didn't do the same round count that I normally do. I just kept trying it on and making sure I liked the length. And so they fit me really well. I'm really happy about them. I kind of wish the leg was just a smidge longer, but I think these are great. They're in between shorty and regular length socks. That's definitely where I like my sock length. So I'm happy about those. Glad to have those done so I can start some new sock projects.
3, 2, 1.
Probably tell I have some chaotic energy going on. I'm gonna have to spend a lot of time editing this video. Oof. Because I'm so excited. I had a big project on my plate that I finally finished, and I've got my samples sent off and my pattern sent out and my paperwork done, and I'm like, a huge weight has been lifted. And so I feel phenomenal. I was so ready to be done with that project. There were 4 different designs that will be included in a book of easy, simple, beginner crochet patterns. And that book's not coming out until fall 2023. So you've got a while, but I'll make sure to tell you all about it when it comes out. I had 4 designs to work on in about 6 weeks. And while I started off really strong and I was working constantly throughout the 6 weeks, my beginning took longer than I thought it would to work on the patterns, and so I ended up falling behind the schedule I set for myself, and I just ended up being really stressed and having questions and running out of time, and it was just so stressful. And I felt like the last few weeks I haven't really been able to work on projects for me. I've just been working on these designs, and I'm so glad to now be done with that, check it off the list, and now I just want to work on all the things that are not are not those projects. So those are some big FOs that I finished, and I'm so glad to be done, but I haven't been able to show them on here. But I wanted to address because I feel like my energy is all over the place right now, and that is why. So I'm feeling a little manic, to be honest. But I don't have too much project-wise to show you because I've been focusing so much on those. I am really happy with what I have been able to get done thus far. But let's move into the whips that I do have. Moment of silence for my Find Your Fade shawl that has not seen the light of day, even though I said it would since last podcast. I'm sorry, I didn't work on it. Oops. I will be better. I do want to get it done. I am thinking that I'm going to do the fade a little different than my original plan to balance out the colors a little bit more. We shall see. Hopefully next week there'll be more progress on that because I don't want it to just linger. It's in a beautiful project bag by Bent on Handmade that I really, really love. And so I really do want to work on it. I promise. I just need to sit down and do it. And since I'm on the lace, that's not a great part for working on when my daughter's around, because if she accidentally pulls a needle or gets tangled in the yarn, then it's really hard to go back and fix. So I need to do that at night one of these days when she is asleep so that I can get past that lace section and move on to the garter, which is easier to work on just kind of out and about and in between doing other things and whatnot. But actual progress that I have done, well, we'll start with the bad first, I guess. So I mentioned this Bolero custom order that I had. I was getting really close to the end when I last showed it, and I was really honestly happy with how it was turning out. I was hopeful, and I was thinking I might even make a pattern out of it. It was too small for my customer. I think my issue was I was focusing too much on the measurements I took of her body rather than thinking about how the item would fit, because there's only so much stretch in the fabric, right? I wasn't thinking well-roundedly about the garment in general, so she could get it on, but it was too tight. It was not comfortable. It was not flattering in how tight it was, so I had to frog, which I'm really, really sad about because I took lots of time on that, but I saved most of it. So I've got the front 2 panels and the back panel. I just cut the panels and I cut the sleeves off, did some surgery on it, and it's been in the naughty corner for like a week. So I need to get back to working on this. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick up some stitches along the edge and add like another inch or 2 all the way around on both the front panels and the back panel, and then restart my sleeves, because I think all the proportions and everything were pretty good, but everything was just a little bit too tight. So I'm going to fix that, and hopefully it'll work better. She was such a great, understanding customer. She tried it on, we talked about how it fit, and we arranged for me to fix it for her. She wasn't upset about it. She was really, really gracious to me, which I am very grateful for. I really want to do this right. Still a whip, and I have not started on it since I frogged and like snipped it and whatnot. So I need to get back on this so I can get it done and get it to her in good shape. So bad news out of the way, we're not talking about that anymore. I've only got 2 whips to show you right now. They're both fairly recent too. Other than my Find Your Fade, I've been good about getting projects done and not having things linger for too long. This project, I've got a lot done compared to last time. I think I was still on the cuff last time, if any, or maybe I had just cast it on. I can't remember, but these are the Reverie socks by Allison Lutz. Isn't that beautiful? Look at those colors. I'm using Daisy Stitch Co. There's 2 mystery 50-gram skeins that I got sort of recently in a mystery sale. You can see there's this really beautiful color work section. There's some baubles, which I wasn't necessarily a fan of baubles, but I decided to do them anyway to follow the pattern, and oh my goodness, I love them. They're you can see the fading of the colors in a rainbow so well in the baubles. They're my favorite part of this sock right now. It's got a garter stitch short row heel, which took me a few tries to get right. It's different than any heel I've ever done before. I've tried it on and it fits all right. So I'm not sure if I'll like it more than a heel flap gusset. I'm kind of feeling like I won't, but I know that there are adjustments that you can make to short row heels to help them fit better, so I might do some researching into that to see what I like best. But that was a really good experience to try that for the first time, and I'm past that middle color work. I'm now doing just stocking it on the foot on this first sock, so I'm moving right along. But I brought this sock to work on for a 45-hour long car ride, and I didn't have the chart with me, so I got to the next color work portion. I couldn't continue, so I cast on the second sock, ta-da, because I knew I could do the cuff. So now I just finished the leg, and I'm about to start the middle color work. But you'll notice I'm kind of a tangle because both of my socks are connected to my yarn, and even for doing the heel, I didn't have to cut this speckled yarn at all in order to work the heel in the more saturated color, which is great, how it was written, so less ends to weave in. But that means I'm basically stuck to the skein by both socks until I get to the toe of one of the socks, I guess. I've got lots of work to do. It's been kind of a pain to juggle 2 socks connected at the same time. I'm going to try to focus on this sock so I can get it at the very least to the toe, where then it won't be attached to this skein anymore, and I can be done with that. It can be separated, it can be nice, and once I'm to the toe, I'm basically done. So I'll do the toe and finish this sock off, and then I'll only have 1 sock. It won't be as messy. I'm really happy with how these socks are turning out. These baubles are beautiful. It's just really fun. I think that the contrast is not quite as stark as I would have normally chosen if I had looked for yarn to purchase, because the speckles are also really bright, and so sometimes it muddies up the color work just a little bit, but I think they look amazing. I think they're really cool, vibrant, and fun, and I do think that these yarns are still a really good match to contrast with one another. So I'm happy, and I'm making some really good progress on those. Those have been kind of my comfort knit because the color work is fairly simple, and there's also parts of stockinette in between. So they've been really fun and different to work on than a vanilla sock, but because of the different sections, I really wanted to be I'll just work on this next bit, or I'll just work until this next part. And so they flew off my needles really quickly. Okay, so I guess I forgot to mention But I'm working on the Reverie socks for the Summer Dreams knit-along that my friend Jessica of JS Threads 14 and I are hosting over on Instagram, so definitely check out the hashtag there and let us know if you want to join in. We would love to see what projects you make from Pom Pom Magazine issue 40. Any of these patterns are eligible for the make-along. Jess will be dyeing some yarn, and I'll be working on some stitch markers, so similar to the giveaway we did for our last knit-along, the Love Note is in the Air knit-along. And we would love to have you join us in making something or some things from Pom Pom Magazine in preparation for the summer. So that's why I'm making those socks. And then my other pattern that I have that I've actually put work into, I'm really excited about this. It's a test knit. This doesn't look like much right now, but this is the Petite Soufflé. Am I saying that right? I'm not French, can you tell? The Petite Soufflé, it is by Penrose Knits, and it's this really cute DK weight sweater that has a ruffle along the yoke. She's got a whole series of soufflé patterns that have either been written already or are going into testing or are designs for the future. So you'll be seeing a lot of soufflé patterns from Laura. And it's been a pleasure already to work in this test group. There's some amazing testers in there, and I'm so grateful that I was selected to be able to test this. I'm doing the 1 to 2 year size for my daughter, Georgia, and I am getting pretty close to the part where I'm going to place my ruffle. So I'm really excited. It's working up really fast. I find that with adult size yokes, I kind of peter out maybe like 2/3 of the way through the yoke when it starts to get really long with the arm and the body stitches, and so it's less fun. But for a kid's knit, it goes by so fast, and so I've really enjoyed that. I'm not sure if I'll have it done by next time because I have plenty of time for this test knit, and I'm just enjoying the process. I'm using Barocco Vintage DK, which is a wool and acrylic blend of some sort, and I really like it. It was only $9 per hank of 100 grams, so really good deal, and it's really soft actually, but also definitely feels hard wearing, and you can machine wash and dry it. So I think that this is a great option for baby knits. Really happy with that choice. Oh, and you'll see I've got a little stitch marker, little dinosaur by Whimsy and Sassy. So cute. So those are my only 2 active whips at the moment, which is crazy to think about. But that just means I have more things that I want to start really, really soon. But I literally just turned in my book design things yesterday. So I'm still riding the high of like letting those go out of my life, crossing off the list, and just kind of doing whatever like floats my boat, going with the flow of things, of like, oh, well, I feel like doing dishes right now. Well, I feel like playing bubbles with my daughter. I don't know, like just doing whatever, whenever I want to do. So I'm getting back into the routine of things now that I've kind of decompressed from that stress of having it, and it's good stress. I'm really grateful for that stress. It was an awesome opportunity, and I'm really excited. It definitely jump-started my desire to push myself outside of my comfort zone and work on getting my designs to reach a wider audience. So I'm really grateful for it, but I'm also grateful that it's done. Enough about that. Let's talk about new yarny goodies that I've gotten in the mail recently. If you know, local yarn store day was April 30th. I'm not sure if that's international or just national here in the United States, but I made sure to stop by my local yarn store, and it was wonderful. There were so many people, which is really great to see because I feel like usually the yarn store is fairly empty. It's not a hubbub of activity, I guess. So there was lots of people there. They had these delicious little mini cupcakes that were so good. Oh my goodness. And I actually got to sit down and just sit and knit with a bunch of other ladies there. It was so nice. And they all knew each other. I'm sure that they had like a knit night group of all of them before. And so I felt a little bit like I was the odd one out because I was in my 20s and knitting with all these older ladies, but they made me feel very welcome, and it was just so fun and relaxing to just sit and knit. But I got a few things, and I had lots of restraint. Go me. I've had a couple big yarn hauls recently. I did one haul with my mom, and then I bought some yarn from Arizona when we went and visited, and so I did not want to buy a whole bunch more yarn because I need projects for my yarn. I didn't want to buy yarn just to buy yarn. I had lots of restraints. So I bought the yarn for my petite souffle, and I also bought a couple notion-y type things. I bought these finishing needles. They're by Susan Bates, but they've got this huge hole in the middle, so you can thread your yarn in, and it makes it easier to weave in ends, especially when your ends are really short, I guess, and so it's hard to use a regular needle and still like thread it through. They're much easier, and it's like a huge big set. So basically I got it because I had an end come loose on one of my first pairs of socks, my Texas socks, and I haven't worn them in probably months because I just have been meaning to fix it, and I haven't, and I finally saw these and I snagged them so that I could fix that loose end. So I did it. Go me. So that's not very glamorous. Another thing I also grabbed was these Knitter's Pride DPNs in size 1. They're birchwood, I think. I do have some DPNs that are metal from Knitpicks, and I'll make sure to link those down below. But I bought these ones because I've been having a hard time with DPNs with stitches sliding, moving around. I think that using wooden ones would help with that, and I really want to become more comfortable working with the DPNs. It's a skill I want to learn and grow in. So in order to do that, I gotta practice. So I want to make at least one pair of socks only using DPNs. So I bought myself a set of DPNs that will hopefully help me to conquer that and get some good practice using them. That is my plan. We'll see if I do it. It's one of the things I'm thinking about as far as a goal for summer sock camp. So I'll have more goals for what I want to do for summer sock camp this year. So I'll have a video coming out soon about that. So keep an eye out. That was all I got for local yarn store today. So nothing crazy, but definitely things useful. And if you watch my Arizona vacation vlog, then you will have seen that I placed a Knitpicks order, and that came in the mail. Ta-da! It is a cute little box, but it is stuffed to the brim with yarn. Sometimes I forget that a lot of the Knitpicks yarn comes in 50-gram put-ups, and so they take up a little less space, so it's just like nice and cute. So I'm going to talk more about a lot of these yarns in a future video. I bought them for a specific video about making socks. Keep an eye out for that, but I'm going to do just a brief little overview, show you what I got, because I'm really excited about it. I will remind you I am an affiliate with Knitpicks right now, so I'll link things down below, and at no extra cost to you, I may receive a commission from any purchases you make through those links. So if you'd like to support me in a way that helps me monetarily but doesn't change anything for you monetarily, then I would really appreciate that, and I'm grateful for you for doing that. I've got a whole bunch of Stroll yarn. Stroll is one of their sock bases. It is, let's see, 75-25 superwash merino and nylon sock base. There's all sorts of varieties of Stroll, and so I actually got some of each. So I've got a skein of Handpainted, I've got a skein of this Tonal, I've got some of their just regular Stroll that are colors, I've got some Stroll Tweed, I've got, this one's the cutest. This is Stroll Gradient. Isn't this just like the cutest little thing? Cutest little cake. And this is 100 grams still, but this is like so cute. I'm gonna cut the different colors and separate them out so I can stripe socks how I want to. This is called Prickly Pear. So this one was especially for me. And then the other ones are going to become gifts of socks for my family members, is the plan. So I got all sorts of those. And then I got a bunch of Aloft, which is their mohair base that I've worked with before. Actually, that's what this is out of, Aloft. And my Love Note also uses Aloft. It's a nice, more budget-friendly mohair option. And I bought this one. This was on sale, but this is the color Plover, which is kind of like a light silvery gray. Just got a couple skeins so I can get started on a mohair crochet cardigan design I have in mind. I'm not sure exactly how much of this yarn I'll need, and I didn't want to buy like 10 skeins of it. And so I just bought a couple so I can get started and do more math related to how much I think I'll actually need. And then I bought a whole bunch of Aloft hand paint. This is called Seoul, as in like the city in South Korea. So these beautiful pinks, yellows, oranges, there's light pink, dark pinks, beautiful color. I'm really excited about this. I'm going to make a souffle by Laura Penrose, and I'm really excited about this. I have the pattern already. I think what I'm going to do, it's shear only one strand of mohair for the upper part of the yoke, and then you have the ruffle and you go into the lower part of the yoke, and the rest of the sweater is made with double-stranded mohair. And I think I'm going to just make the whole thing double-stranded for modesty purposes, and I'm really excited about it. So that might be something I cast on really soon. We shall see. I'm not sure. I'm a little hesitant about the mohair right now because it's getting warmer. It says me in my Christmas sweater in May. But we shall see. I'm really excited about that, and it was on mega sale. I think that color is clearing out, or there may be clearing out that Aloft hand paint. I'm not sure, but it was on sale, which was awesome. So I took advantage of it. So you might be thinking, Emily, you don't need more yarn. Look at all the yarn you have. Look at all the potential projects you have. I say 90% of this yarn is attached to a very specific project, which I'm happy about. That's the point, right? I want to end up making these projects, so I've tried to purposefully buy yarn for them, but I bought more yarn. Also for a project, I bought 4 skeins of this. It's called, oh man, it's blowing out really bad. I wish I could come closer. This is Winnie Jo Fiber Co. in the color English Garden. She did a capsule mini collection prior to her wedding. I bought 4 skeins of her Squish DK 100% superwash merino. It's got peaches and pinks. It's got like a really, really light peach base. Definitely my color palette. All about the warm colors right now. And you can tell because most of the Knitpicks stuff is not my color palette per se, but it's what I knew that other people would enjoy. So, but this is for me. I'm gonna make a peekaboo maxi skirt by Knititude with this yarn. I've mentioned it before. My body is changing. All bodies change, right? And I'm just having a hard time finding things that I like and that also fit me in a flattering way, that make me feel confident, and that also are modest to the level I want them. It's really hard to get all 3 combined. And so I am trying to embrace the whole making my own clothes thing, because then I can make sure that it fits me in a way that I love and that makes me feel really confident. So I'm gonna make a skirt out of this. I'm really, really excited. It'll be so beautiful. And I've got lots of really light summery tops that I think would look really good with this skirt. It's not super neutral, definitely very springy, very summery, but I think that it'll go well with a lot of my wardrobe. So I'm really excited to making this. Another thing that I think I could make soon that I would really love. So many things and I'm not sure what to make, but you are going to help me, so just hold on. Last couple of things that I got recently that I want to share. These beautiful, beautiful stitch markers. I didn't know about denim and rain fibers until someone shared about these stitch markers in their stories. But oh my goodness, they're beautiful. Look at that. It's made of resin. There's like gold flecks in it, little bits of, it looks like little ferny bits. But it's a sheep. And it's got little markers to go with it too. Beautiful. Like stunning. It makes me want to learn how to work with resin. I do not need another craft. And then I also recently got a book. Actually, this came yesterday in the mail. 280 Japanese lace stitches. So what makes Japanese knitting or crochet different is that they don't use written instructions at all. It's only in charted patterns. And so that makes it more universal for all languages, which is really fun. But then you need to know how to read the chart correctly to learn everything you need to know, because it is a little bit different than just traditional charting. Just a little bit. It's got some beautiful, just so many different lace textures. I got this because I want to make a pair of lacy socks inspired by the red yucca plant out of this yarn from Sundial Designs that I got in Arizona. And while I have some ideas in mind, I thought that it would be really helpful to look through these lace patterns to get a better sense of what kind of things I want to do so that I can stretch myself and learn and write some lace. So I'm really excited to look at these stitch patterns. They're all looking really beautiful, and I'm excited to delve into that. So for upcoming dreams and plans, I thought I would take a little bit of a different approach to this because there's so many things I want to cast on, and now that I have less on my plate, I am so excited to cast on all the things. And so I need your help to figure out what to cast on next. So definitely let me know down below. I'm going to give you a few ideas of what I am thinking about starting soon. Let me know if you want me to start something in particular, or if you're working on something similar that you think I would enjoy. Let me know. Put your vote down below for what I should cast on next. Okay, so let's dismantle. We'll pull out things that we think I might work on. I'm surrounded by yarn for different options of things to work on soon. First up, this is Emma's yarn, and I was planning on making some sea glass tees for my daughter and me to kind of match / coordinate with these beautiful colors. So that's an option. I bought this yarn to reward myself for having my designs chosen for that book, and I told myself I wouldn't cast on until I finished, and I finished. I think I should maybe cast on now. And then next choice is Ching Fiber in Merino Singles. It's a single ply yarn. I've got 2 skeins of this. I only pulled out one. This is in the color Flaminglet, which is so cute. And I was thinking about making a Moonglade dress for my daughter with some beautiful lace. That's an idea too. Oh, I love these colors. So yummy. I pulled out my Aloft already to make the Souffle by Penrose Knits, which I'm really excited about. I'm all about the souffle top right now. I was not selected for the summer souffle test, but that's okay. In the meantime, I can work on the souffle and then work on the summer tee when that gets released. And then I already mentioned my Winnie Jo Fiber Coat for my maxi skirt. I've got this Stash palette yarn from Knitpicks, and it's in this really light blue color. I bought it for my love note, and it ended up not being a good match for the mohair I had. But I could make a Maven top with this. Can you tell I'm totally into the summer knits right now? I need to get started so I can wear them this year. This is Catalina on a sport weight base. This is by Sorelli Yarn. I wanted to make Fable by Alicia Plummer. Some beautiful pinks and purples and peaches. So good. Again, another summer top that I'm really interested in. I love that there's just a little bit detailing, but most of it is stockinette, so it's definitely my style. It's, basic, but with a little something extra. I've got my no frills sweater that I haven't started yet, which is so silly of me because my needles have been free this whole time. But I've got this beautiful mohair by Madeline Tosh called New Moon, and I've matched it with this palette yarn, Ice Lily. And you'll see that there's some mauve that matches perfectly. And I've got a really nice gauge swatch already. I'm ready to go. I just need to start. Why haven't I started? Probably because it's getting warmer, and so do I really want to work on a sweater right now? It's only DK weight with fingering and mohair, so it's not super heavy. It'll be beautiful seeing this work up. So I think this is still on the table for a project to start really soon. And other than that, I've got lots of other projects, but I think that's what my heart is leaning towards right now. And of course, all the socks. I'm definitely in a sock mood. I'm going to have a sock parade video showing all the socks I've knit in my first year of knitting. I'll have that up soonish. I'm going to be sharing all the stats about the socks I've knit to share with you what I have after a year of knitting. And then I also wanted to do a little video sharing about my goals related to summer sock camp this year. I had wanted to knit socks for a while, and I just wasn't pushing myself to do it. I was intimidated. I was scared to try. But with summer sock camp coming up, I knew that was my chance. That was my reason to actually learn how to knit socks so I could participate in summer sock camp and sock week by Knitty Natty. With those two make-alongs as my vision, I learned how to knit socks, and it was the end of April, beginning of May is really when I first learned to knit. And I started knitting my first pair of socks in like the middle of May-ish. And the rest is history. And I knew I would love making socks, and I do. And so I regret not learning earlier, I guess, but I've really enjoyed every single moment thus far. So I wanted to share that love with you through my sock parade video, but also since it was such a motivator to learn how to knit socks to participate in summer sock camp, I wanted to share my goals and ideas and plans for what I want to knit for this coming summer sock camp, and I thought that would be fun to share. Are you going to be knitting socks for a summer sock camp or sock week this year? Let me know down below. I love chatting with fellow sock knitters, and if you don't like knitting socks, that's okay too. But what do you enjoy? I would love to hear what really pulls at your heartstrings to make and what really helps you feel fulfilled, because I know sock making is not for everybody. So I'm surrounded by so many different options for like things to knit on. So many different things. I like can't even hold them all. So many different options. So let me know what you think I should knit next. I'm probably going to cast on like 2 or 3 things, given I have the needles for it. You should see a lot of new cast-ons from me. And I will see you next week for another new video. Happy making. Bye.